Welcome to Circuit Buddy. Today we will be discussing about nucleus. Nucleus is a very important topic of class 11 biology. It is also important for NEET. So let us discuss about nucleus in details. Keep watching the video till the end so that you can understand and memorize all the important topics of nucleus. So here, what is nucleus? Nucleus. Nucleus is the brain of the cell. So it is the brain of the cell. Okay. Why is it called the brain of the cell? Because it controls all the physiological and biochemical activities of the cell, and that's why we call the nucleus the brain of the cell. Now, nucleus was discovered in 1931 by Robert Brown. Okay, in 1931 discovered nucleus. Okay, now nucleus can be one or more than one per cell. Okay, and we will be talking about the nature of the nucleus. According to nature, nucleus can be divided into or categorized into these types. Number one, eukaryon. So eukaryon means when a cell possesses one nucleus of the same species, it is called the eukaryon. So one nucleus of the same species, so it is called the eukaryon. Now number two is heterokaryon. So heterokaryon, here hetero means different, so it is mean different. So two different nuclei of two different species present in the cell, and that's why it is called the heterokaryon. So two different nuclei of two different species. Okay, so it is called the heterokaryon. Number three is the synkaryon. Okay, so what is synkaryon? Synkaryon is a state when the cell has a single nuclei formed by the fusion of the two different nuclei of the two different species that I have discussed before. So the two different nuclei of the two different species are fused together to form one single nucleus, and that condition is called synkaryon. Okay, so the different nuclei are fused. Let me write it here. The different nuclei are fused. Okay, now let us discuss about the other types. Number 4 is the pronucleus. The nucleus of the ovum before fertilization is called the pronucleus. Pro means before, okay, in the sense that fertilization is yet to occur. Number 5 is the amphinucleus. So amphinucleus means the nucleus of the somatic cells. So nucleus of the somatic cells. Okay, and 6 is heminucleus. This is the nucleus of the gametes. Okay, so these are the various types of nucleus according to nature, and now according to size, nucleus can be of two types. One is macronucleus. Okay, macro means large, so a large sized nucleus is called macronucleus, and micronucleus A small sized nucleus is called the micronucleus. Okay. Now other types of nucleus will be discussed here. So first of all, let us erase it. An animal cell which has, let me write it here, animal cell having multiple nucleus. Okay, we call it syncytium. Okay, so we can see it is called the syncytium. Now cells with plant cells with multiple nucleus is called the cenocyte. Okay, so these are the various types of nucleus on the basis of different perspectives. Now we will talk about the ultrastructure of nucleus, but before that let us discuss about a very important formula that comes in our exams, and that is called the Hartwig formula. Okay, so in Hartwig's formula there is NP equal to Vn by Vc minus Vn. Here NP, let me write it here, so it is Hartwig formula, Oscar Hartwig's formula. Okay, so it is NP equal to nuclear protein index, Vn is equal to volume of nucleus, and V is equal to volume of cell. So from this formula we can derive a relationship between the nuclear volume and the volume of the cell. Okay, and this is very helpful in determining the shape of the nucleus. Okay, now we will talk about the ultrastructure of nucleus. So if we talk about the ultrastructure, let us draw a rough diagram of the nucleus so that you can understand it better. This is the nuclear membrane or nuclear lemma, and you can see that the nuclear membrane is a two membrane system. So it is a two membrane system. So first of all, let us discuss about the nuclear membrane first. So the nuclear membrane is a two membrane system. This is the outer nuclear membrane. Okay, and this is the inner nuclear membrane. Okay, now in between these two nuclear membranes there is a space. You can see this is the space which is called the perinuclear space. It is called the perinuclear space. Okay, now the nuclear membrane is also named as the nuclear lemma. Lemma means membrane, and it is also named as karyotheca. Okay, so karyo means nucleus. So karyo means actually nucleus, and theca means box. So it is actually boxing the nucleus, or it is covering the nucleus. That's why it is called the karyotheca. Now the inner nuclear membrane is also named as the endokaryotheca. Endo means inside, endokaryotheca, and the outer nuclear membrane is called the ectokaryotheca. Okay, now the outer nuclear membrane, there are ribosome attached to it, and there may be endoplasmic reticulum also attached to it. Okay, so you can see this is the endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, okay, so these are the ribosome particles attached to it. That's a rough diagram. Okay, so this is the endoplasmic reticulum, ER, and this is the ribosome. Okay, which is the protein factory of the cell. Now you can see that the inner nuclear membrane or the endokaryotheca is not attached to the endoplasmic reticulum or the ribosome. Instead of this, it is attached to the nuclear lamina. Okay, so it is the nuclear lamina attached to it. You can see it's the nuclear lamina. Okay, now what is this nuclear lamina? Nuclear lamina. But before that, I want to say you that these membranes are actually 90 angstrom in thickness, and the perinuclear space, as I have talked to you earlier, perinuclear space is 15 nanometer. Okay, now this nuclear lamina is actually a network of fibrous protein. Okay, so proteinaceous fibers. Okay, and this nuclear lamina actually helps in the attachment of the chromatin reticulum, okay, to the inner side of the inner nuclear membrane. Okay, so that's the main function of nuclear lamina. The nuclear lamina is made up of three extrinsic proteins. So three extrinsic proteins are there in nuclear lamina, and they're named as lamin A, number 2 lamin B, number 3 lamin C, and these proteins are included in the lamin family. So these are included in the lamin family. Okay, now we will be talking about the nucleolus. Sorry, before that, let us talk about the function of the nuclear membrane. The function of the nuclear membrane, I call it, it's a ball. Okay, so let me write it here. It's a ball. Okay, so what does it mean? So it is the function of nuclear membrane. I means interaction. I means interaction. So it is actually controlling the interaction between the cytoplasm and the nucleus, and that's why interaction is a very important function of nuclear membrane. And then we have the T, that is the transport. So it transports various types of inorganic ions and organic compounds from the nucleus to the cytoplasm, and so transportation is a very important function of nuclear membrane. Now number 3 is blebbing. So the nuclear membrane can form endoplasmic reticulum by the process of blebbing, and that's a very important function. So these are the main functions of nuclear membrane. Now you can see that there are certain pores here. We call it the nuclear pore. So we call it the nuclear pore, and they are 120 angstrom in diameter. Okay, so the pore is 120 angstrom in diameter. Sorry, angstrom, it is not angstrom, it is nanometer. Okay, now let us discuss about the nucleolus. Okay, for this we have to erase the board. So the nucleolus has 3 regions. I call it the Frege regions. Frege. So what does it mean by Frege? Frege means F means FC region, D means DFC region, and G means the GC region. What does it mean? FC region means the fibrillar center. So this is called the fibular center. DFC means the dense fibular component, and the GC means the granular component. So this is the granular component. Okay, now you see that the fibular center is the center of the nucleolus. So it is present in the center of the nucleolus. It is actually an thread-like region, and it is present in the center of the nucleolus, and it is formed of rDNA. So it is formed of rDNA, but it is not transcriptionally active. Okay, now the dense fibular component is next to the fibular center, and it is formed of the rDNA and the proteins associated with the nascent rRNA. Okay, so this is called the dense fibular component, and this is the GC, the granular component, which is actually forms most of the nucleolus, and it is formed of mostly rRNA and ribosomal subunits are there in the granular component, and that's the structure or the components of nucleolus. What is the function of nucleolus? Nucleolus is called the ribosome factory of the cell because it produces the ribosomal subunits, and it's very important function of nucleolus. Now we will be talking about the chromatin reticulum. So these are the chromatin reticulum. Let me write it here. The chromatin reticulum. So these chromatin fibers are actually made up of DNA and histones. Okay, histones are basic proteins, so they are basic in nature. Okay, why are they basic? Because they are made up of mostly basic amino acids, and I call it the hull. So I call it the hull. So let me erase it first. So I call it the hull. Hull, H means histidine, a basic amino acid, A means arginine, and L means lysine. Okay, so these are the basic amino acids that form the basic protein histone. Okay, and in case of the prokaryotes, we don't have histones, and that's why you cannot call the DNA present in the prokaryotes as chromatin reticulum. Okay, because they don't contain any histone. Now we will be talking about the nucleoplasm. The nucleoplasm is present in between the nucleolus and the nuclear membrane. So it is present in between the nucleolus and the nuclear membrane, and it is also called the nuclear sap and the karyolimb. Okay, so it contains the nuclear plasm or nucleoplasm. Nucleoplasm contains RNA, okay, RNA, phosphoproteins, histones, okay, and RNA polymerase. Okay, so that's all about the structure of nucleus. Hope you have understood the lecture thoroughly, and thank you very much for cooperating with me. Please watch all my videos and comment whether you liked it or not, and what to improve and what not to improve, and make sure that you subscribe my channel so that you can get future notifications whenever I post a new video on YouTube. Thank you very much once again. Have a great day.